I got it.
You got it. Ooh, gotta even us out. Hello, hi, and welcome back to High Heels Happy Hour podcast. And Ingrid's back.
Yay.
We want to thank Megan for co-hosting last week. She was awesome. But of course, I'm glad to have my buddy back. And no, it's not Ingrid scratching herself. It's the dog, Chance.
Yes.
That's in the podcast studio with us. So
he's hanging out with us today.
Heavy breathing, panting, scratching, licking. It's not us. So, checking in. How was your week?
So my week was great.
Yeah.
So I did a retreat.
That's right.
So I did a retreat on my own. So it was just me, which was really nice.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the last time I went away for a weekend by myself. Like,
and it was when you went to Boston, but that was years ago.
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to do anything. It was just to take care of me, which was really nice.
That's nice.
So
we'll get into more of that today.
Yes.
Taking care of oneself.
And how about you?
So, see those.
I'm not sure why your week was really good.
So I had a big birthday. Hint, hint, numbers back there. Mm-hmm. So I turned the big 50. I know. Sounds like a lot. Kind of is a lot, but still, it's I survived. I did not turn into a pumpkin. No, but it was great. So it was hectic because, having a party, and I had friends coming from out of town. And so it was a busy weekend, and also setting up for the party because I like to do those things by myself. Did not cook. Had the fabulous counterculture catered, which was great. Because otherwise I usually do that too. And then you're so stressed. But no.
I'm glad you didn't.
That would have been a nightmare. But no, it was really fun. And as I said, I survived. And really, it was so fun. Such a fun party. So great to see all my friends.
Me included. And we danced.
We danced.
A lot.
Which is actually my hack. I'll do my hack at the same time.
Yes.
One should dance more.
It does the body good.
But you know what? Dancing really, we've talked about, things that gets endorphins going. I don't care if people say, well, I'm not a dancer. I'm not good at it. Who cares? There were a lot of us out there that were not good at it, but so fun.
I think it brings your mood up.
Yes.
Your body gets moving.
We should all dance. And I know my friend Joanne, who you know as well, she does sometimes a little dance party in her kitchen by herself at 6:00. Like when cooking. I think that's a great idea. We should dance more. That's my hack. Okay. I'm going to do more dance parties in the kitchen. I don't care if anyone's watching or not. I am going to put music on when I cook and dance because it just makes me happy. And yes, you burn calories, brings up endorphins. It's just perfect.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. What's your hack?
So my hack is, as I'm getting a little older, there's certain things I kind of want to, lessen. Like I have a little bit of a belly pouch that I've been working on. And I recently found out it's not that I'm mostly overweight, but I have something called...
What did you say? You're mostly overweight?
No.
What?
Okay, so that's what I thought.
You all need to get on YouTube and look at this.
That's what I thought.
Ingrid is not overweight.
However, what I found out was I actually have a little bit more visceral fat, which was really surprising because I don't really eat bad food.
Yeah.
So I've decided that I have to be better at planning. And we've talked about planning, but one thing is talking about it. Another thing is doing it.
Yeah.
So I made sets of what I put in a shake. Because usually if it's not ready, I'm like, I'll just do it later.
Yeah.
So I made little Ziploc packets with like spinach, avocado, blueberries, everything that I put in a shake.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Okay.
So
little meal prep.
Yes. And we've talked about it, but it really makes a difference.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with you.
There's nothing that I can do.
I agree with you.
Besides what I eat and how I eat in order to get rid of visceral fat.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
mean, exercise always helps, but
yes,
definitely it's and for those of you that don't know, the visceral fat is the fat that's not the what we see like the rolls
I know.
or the soft. It's the
I
fat
thought I
that's
had rolls.
around more internally around our organs, and that's the dangerous fat
Yes,
that we
and
need
it
to get rid
leads
of.
to super fast diabetes, which
Hmm.
I didn't know. I
Yep,
mean, I kind of knew, but I didn't know I had it.
yep,
Dementia,
yep. Oh no, it
Alzheimer's.
leads to everything. But you know that also visceral fat, it can be a little bit genetic on how if it's easy to some um I would say not nationalities, but
Ethnicities.
ethnicities have an
Yes.
easier time gaining visceral fat than
Well, I am
others. So I think
Spanish
maybe
and
it's a Latin, maybe Latin is more
darn it.
prone. I don't know, but no, it's definitely the one that we usually care most about is the softness that we can feel. But this
Yeah.
is the
So
so
that's my hack that I'm
all
doing.
right. Well, that's good. And I can say I started doing too because I am also on the go, and if I don't have time to bring something, then I either don't eat or it will be something not good.
Yes.
But the thing, and usually I do like to eat in the car if I'm driving far.
Okay. Why bring
Um,
some snacks, but not when you're driving
s-
close by, when you're running around, you get
yeah,
caught with no
but
food.
so now what I can eat in the car, I put in little mason jars. Is like my hack from last week. My Greek yogurt and cottage cheese mix.
Uh-huh.
Those are easy to prep. Put in with a little fruit and
Huh.
flaxseed and stuff, and put in mason jars. And they fit in the cup holder, so you pop your little jar in there.
Oh, my mason jars are a little bigger. But I did hear
Oh, mine
that
is
about
like
the
that.
cottage cheese. I
That's
love
true.
cottage cheese. But I wouldn't know. I don't know if I would like any thicker. You like it thicker.
Well, when you mix it, it not necessarily become thicker.
The
It's
consistency.
just no, it just evens itself. You need to try it. It's fabulous. Okay, so today's topic is all about aging powerfully.
Yes.
Because since I have now reached this milestone, um, mid-century milestone, we
Mm.
figured, you know what? Instead of just trying to prevent aging or talking about um, how to stay,
Reversing.
yeah, how to stay young, well, what are some of the benefits of aging? Because there are quite a few. And how
Dun,
do
dun,
we age
dun.
powerfully? Not gracefully. That just sounds like you're gracefully lying down taking it. No, we're going to age powerfully. And I will say, I've never felt better. So even though my number is high, I don't think I've ever been stronger physically. Endurance wise, maybe I had a little more endurance 10 years ago. I don't run as much anymore, but definitely muscle mass way more than I've ever had. I don't feel like there's nothing I feel like, oh, I could do that in my 20s. Nope, nothing. I don't grunt when I get up from a chair. I don't know. There's actually, I really thought about it a lot this week. Like, what is it that I think I did better or I could do in my 20s that I can't do today? And I couldn't come up with a single thing. Maybe I could drink more alcohol, but that's not a goal. That's not a
I think
good
we
thing.
all drank more alcohol
Yeah.
when we were
We could
younger.
maybe I could recover, sleep less and recover faster, but still, I don't think even if I have a bad night of sleeping, I can still function. It's not an issue, sure, if it
Hmm.
was for a prolonged time, but um no, I couldn't come up with a thing.
Huh.
So there you have it. Don't blame age. That's all I'm saying. No more blaming. Oh, like, oh,
Huh.
I'm old. No, no, we're not. We're only as old as we make ourselves.
Okay.
Yes. Is that a saying in English? It's a saying in Swedish. You're only as old as you make yourself, meaning you can be really old at 30 or you can be really
Because
young at 90.
they have that saying, but they also have you're only as old as you feel.
Yeah, but I think feel is one thing, but make yourself is like, what is it? What are your hobbies? What do you do? Your
Well,
outlook on
that's new.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're sticking to that saying. It's
Okay.
much better. So older, stronger, and better, huh?
And bossier.
And bossier. Well, you see why it's so. I today we're gonna talk about the top 10. I've always been bossy, Ingrid. Um, the top 10 reasons why
Mhm.
aging is beneficial. You got some coffee in your lip there, my dear. So we can weigh in on these. So these are the Chat GPT top reasons. So I'm sure it comes from thousands of articles around the world, but we can weigh in on each one. I agree with all of them. So I'd like to see. So Ingrid has not reached the mature age of 50, but
Not yet.
you have made it into your 40s. Soon will be, not soon, but like approaching mid
No, no,
line.
I'm still,
Or we consider you still early 40s.
yes.
Okay, great. That's what we're going to do.
Up in yes.
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 So we have both entered decades that are considered older.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd like your input
Okay.
on that as well. Okay. So number one reason why aging is beneficial: more wisdom and experience. So with age comes a wealth of life experiences contributing to greater wisdom and perspective. How do you feel about that? Do you feel wiser than you were 10 years ago?
Yes.
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 And more experienced?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I mean,
Yes.
otherwise, if you're not more experienced every year, then something is wrong.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that goes in also too is allowing yourself to have experiences.
Yeah.
Some people, especially, we were in with all the COVID stuff, people kind of stayed in.
Mhm.
People still kind of don't go out as much. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Like you need to be able to
Yeah.
meet people, talk to people, see things because that's how we learn.
Yep.
That's what we're going to be able to talk about in 10 years from now.
But I also feel when I meet younger people, like girls in their 20s or even, our teens, or scroll social media and you see, and you can feel like, oh, honey, that's so cute. Like, yeah, you know nothing because you're only 18. But
Yeah.
so I feel like definitely wiser and with experience, more experienced. All right, number two, we have more self-confidence as we age. So many women report feeling more confident and secure in themselves as they age, caring less about societal expectations. You don't care, pretty much. How do you feel about that?
I would agree to that. I think my comparison is just myself. Like I try to do better than I
Mm-hmm.
did before.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much societal. Like I don't really
But I think we
care.
cared way more about that
Before, yes.
before. And also with social media and stuff. I mean, if we had that, that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel sorry for all
Our
youngsters
society now
because
is
there's so many, so
it's all
judgmental.
fake.
Yeah. And I totally agree with the self-confidence part. There's always going to be things that we feel about ourselves that were, hang-ups that we have and situations we might not be. But I am definitely way more confident in my own abilities today than I was 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Even 30 years ago. And another funny thing, I heard a statistic. Do you know? Well, because I told you, but the audience, we talk about our body appreciation or how we, see ourselves and how we feel about our bodies. Research has shown that the age group where people feel the best about themselves, how they look, is in their 60s. So we haven't reached that yet. We're going to feel way better about ourselves in our 60s.
Ooh, I can't
Isn't that
wait.
cool? So even though I'm sure that a 60-year-old body is not considered the peak of physical, I mean, it could be, but Most people are not at their peak, but that's when you feel the best about yourself. So that just shows how wrong, I mean, how skewed the whole
Yeah.
your self-confidence, how you're so tough on yourself when you're younger. But no, so think about that.
Hmm.
You're gonna feel better and better about
And
yourself the older you get.
obviously better and better and better and better and
Hmm.
better is as long as you do what you need to do. Like
Yeah,
this is
of
not,
course. Yeah,
well, I
but
know
if
we
you do,
know,
yeah, yeah, no, I
but
agree.
with
I agree.
everything, I mean, you working out, taking care of
Yeah,
yourself, I think it's now even just came to my mind, it's a cumulative effect.
yeah.
So if you take care of yourself and realize now, hey, I need to take care of myself. I want to take care of myself. In
Hmm.
20 years, you'll be better off than if you had not.
Absolutely.
So it's
Absolutely.
just,
That's one of my tips. We're getting to that later.
wow.
So also these top 10 uh, uh, benefits are for women, since we are mostly a female podcast,
Yes.
and we are female ourselves.
Yes.
So we only care about us right now. And although I will say, I'm sure some of them are true for men too. Okay, number 3 benefit with aging is emotional resilience.
I say yes.
Yes, older women often develop better coping mechanisms and emotional resilience to handle life's challenges. And I think it goes back to the wisdom and experience, like you've gone through it before. So, and the self confidence, you don't care as much anymore.
Hmm.
So it's like, well, shit happens, but so what? It's not the end of the world. And we don't get too emotional and distraught about little things.
Get a little umph.
Yeah.
I agree. Because, yeah, there's nothing to, like, it's just,
Yeah.
it
Don't
is what
don't
it is.
sweat the small stuff.
Yes.
Uh, number 4,
I'm peeking. Sorry.
increased financial stability. Amen to that.
Yes.
As career progress and financial planning becomes more focused, many women find increased financial stability in their later years.
That
So,
makes sense because when you're young, I mean,
yeah.
I did not spend as much as I didn't have it.
Hmm.
However, I do know that a lot of young kids, like even with my children, they'll
Hmm.
buy stuff and I'm like, do you really need that? Or I just want it. And it's, teaching them those things that it's not all the stuff.
Hmm.
They need to plan how to
Hmm.
save. So
Yep.
I can definitely see where at this age you're more.
Yeah, and it's also because of experience. And if you've been in a work, if you're not, working for yourself is a little different. But if you're employed, your likelihood have earned more. Your paycheck is bigger because you've been there longer. You have way more experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, definitely more financial stability. And also, when you having little children cost a lot of money. When you're a little older, they're
Yes.
not. Well, they're still costing money, but um, it's hopefully you've been able to save over a longer
Mm-hmm.
period of time, because you all listened to the episode
I
about
was just
the
gonna
six
say that.
jars,
Yes.
right?
I was like, hey, we told you how to do it.
Yeah, so yeah, over time it has accumulated, so you're not so worried about money on, but if, of course, being entrepreneurs, it's a little different
It is.
because but yeah. And it's funny too with financial stability. A lot of, if you look social media or marketing, anything, a lot of um, brands, they target a younger audience, forgetting that it's actually the older
Mm-hmm.
generations that have more money to spend, more disposable income, and in the
But
not necessarily, when you're retired, but in your 40s, 50s, and most of us in our
right, but we
60s.
have more disposable income,
Hmm.
so we're a little safer to spend versus the younger
No, that's what I'm
generation.
saying. But
Yeah,
they market to the 20-year-olds that don't have money.
but they'll find the money,
Well, they some will, some won't.
and that's why they run into issues with money because they spend too much.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, number 5, We have closer relationships as we age. Older women may prioritize meaningful, Chance didn't agree with that, meaningful relationships leading to deeper connections with family and friends. Not quantity of friends, but quality. And I say, yay, amen to that.
Yes, I've been doing that for a while, so I think
Yeah.
I've been told I'm a little older than what I look as far as acting. So,
Hmm.
but that it goes to what I've decided to do, especially with relationships.
Yeah.
You just have to.
Yeah.
They age you.
Yes. And you let go of the ones that you feel are
Yes.
not beneficial. And we talked about that before too, but it really is. And again, it's not, I think as we were younger, it was, the number of
Mhm.
likes, the number of people that showed up, the number, it's not about that. It's about how deeply you're connected to the ones that you're
Mhm.
actually hanging out with. Because who is truly going to show up to your at your side in
Time of
time
need.
of need,
Mhm.
and who is truly a friend, and who's not just artificial.
Acquaintance.
Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely working on those relationships. Okay, number 6, personal growth. Aging often brings a sense of self discovery and personal growth as individuals become more in tune with their values and priorities.
I cannot concur any more.
Yep. And again,
That's
we've talked about that. If
yes.
you don't grow, you die, which is my favorite saying. And I've grown a lot. So yes, personal growth. It's when you've lived a little, when you have had the
Mhm.
experience, wisdom, that when you really feel like, you know what, there's no person better to invest in than yourself. And if I don't learn something new, and if I don't invest in me, who will?
Yeah. I mean, as we talk about aging, the best parts of aging, you know, I'm good where I am right now. There's certain things that I'm like, oh, if I just started a little bit sooner,
Hmm.
I would have been
Yep.
better now. So if you're listening to this and you're in your 20s and 30s, start now
Yeah.
because you're going to be in such a better place later. Because
Yeah.
even, I mean, just personal growth. I mean,
Hmm.
we're not really taught to do that.
Yeah. But I do think that the benefit of doing it now in life is that now we know what we truly are into.
Yeah, and I guess we get
When we're
to
younger, we kind of into everything, but now we know more. Like that's, as you said here, in line with your values. We know if it's on brand with our personal
yeah,
brand. Like, no,
that's true
that's
too.
not
So it's
gonna.
kind of like a
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
little
But
bit
I
of a
think when you're younger, explore and then you figure out what you're into.
yes. So
But
yeah, so have more
yeah,
experiences now,
yeah.
and so you can figure out
So
what
you
you're
can know what
into.
you're into.
Yes,
Yeah. So now I can see, oh, that sounds fun, but it's definitely not for me, or not
and it's
something
so
that will
easy to say
benefit.
no now.
Yes.
Like no, but yes, say
Yes.
no, no.
I know. And that's the next one.
Oh, yay!
Freedom from societal pressures.
I think that was the most. Not I think. I know that was the most relieving when
Yep.
when you can just say, yeah, no, that's not something I want to do.
Yep. It's not for me. I don't care if everyone else loves it or get on the bandwagon. It's not for
Yeah,
me. So here it says too, with age, some women feel liberated from societal beauty standards and expectations,
yes,
allowing them to embrace their authentic selves. Yes, so it's, yes, beauty standards, but I think, as you said, more importantly, you could just say no to things that you don't want to do.
yeah. And it's I mean, there's no reason why you don't want to. You just don't want to.
Yeah,
You don't
you
have
don't
to
have to
give.
explain yourself.
Yes,
Yes,
that is awesome.
amen
Yes,
to that. A lot of amens today.
yes,
Yes. Okay, number 7, time for hobbies, passions, and self care. As children grow up and careers stabilize, women may have more time to pursue hobbies and passions they didn't have time for earlier in life. So true.
Well,
As
if
we
you
said
say
too,
no,
now we know what hobbies and
Yes.
things we want to have time, because before we want to do everything and we don't have time for any,
Hmm.
but now we can really kind of,
Or try something that you
yeah,
haven't. But
yeah,
because you say no to the things you don't want to do,
yeah.
you have more time to do things that you want to do.
But I will also say with older children, I mean, before little kids are so hands on, you got to run after them. It's a lot of time,
I have that.
a lot of time.
Mine
Your
is
kids are
still,
not that young.
they're not that young, but they have a lot of stuff.
No, but that's always going to be.
I mean,
But it's, I think when they're younger, it's more like you got to keep your eyeballs on them
yes.
at all times. You
Yeah.
can't leave them for, and I will say too, not having to ever have a babysitter again. I think that was the most stressful, having, as you know, we both
Hmm.
had husbands traveling, entrepreneurs trying to figure it out, just having that staff of babysitters you try to call one after another. That was super stressful.
Yeah. And you had that. So
Yeah.
one thing, Christina and I are a little different. Christina had babysitters and backup. I
Yeah.
didn't. I had a very difficult time having people. Now I do. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm very particular, so it's a little different, and it goes back to how we grew up,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
But definitely, someone that has children in entrepreneurship, do yourself a favor, have a
Yeah.
backup, because it
Yeah.
was very that at that time was so
Yeah. It was
crazy.
super hard.
Yeah.
And that is definitely time consuming and draining. And having hobbies might not
Hmm.
feel like there's any left time left over. So I think today I can sometimes the kids are like, "What are we gonna do?" I'm like, "I don't care what you're gonna do. I'm gonna do this."
What's a
Oh,
hobby that you do now?
well, I do way more weight training than I used
Okay.
to. So I spend more time at the gym or up here in my own little gym, watching TV and working out. I take more time for walks, being, used
Okay.
to be running, but now it's more walking. Not because I can't run. Well, I had an injury, but it's also a choice because I
You
know that running is not beneficial
yes.
at my age. Um, and I do more self care. I didn't take time for facials with Ingrid, and I still don't do a lot of massage, but uh, more than I ever did. But more time to for myself, and even not just paying someone to treat you, but I do more self care in the mornings. Like I take longer with all the things I want to do. Go for a walk, read the paper, shower.
You're in the moment more.
So yeah, so I don't care that it takes. I block off more time in the morning to just have my
I
time for
love
me,
that.
which I do love too, which was not an option
For yeah.
before. Um, so yay to
Mhm.
that. Reduced stress is number 9. Do we have reduced stress? Well, here it says some women experience a decrease in stress levels as they age, especially after retirement and when major life goals have been achieved. I don't think we're there yet.
No, I was just to say, I was like, we're not
No, we're not there
retired,
yet. We'll come back in 10, 15 years, maybe 20.
but with everything in order, it's kind of everything kind
Hmm.
of goes together.
Hmm.
We don't have the same stressors we had
No,
before.
we're not stressing the little stuff as we
Yes,
used to,
so it's still
as we
still
said.
stress.
Yeah. I
But
think stress with work and things to do, yes, that's still, and
yes,
as an entrepreneur, there's always going to be
yes,
levels of stress. So I can't really say that I have stress. I just don't, it doesn't take over my life the way it used to, I think,
yes.
or
Same
my
thing with me. So
mental.
I grew up my whole life with stress.
Yeah.
Now it's different. It's stress, but I kind of look at what I'm stressed about, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I really can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So it kind of just
Exactly.
goes back in the back
Yeah.
burner. I'm like, I'll get
Yeah.
to it when I can. Versus before, it was like in my frontal lobe the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So stress is definitely dealt with differently.
Yes, I agree. I agree. It's there. And I think some of us, there's also how people are. I think you and I are doesn't matter how old we are, we're always going to have occupy ourselves with things to
Yes,
do. So there's always going to be some level of time commitments or something that you're stressing about. But how you deal with it is
yeah. I
definitely
might have
different.
a hard time dealing with nothing, having nothing to
I
do.
think that would stress me
Yes,
out, to be honest. Not
that's
having anything to do would stress me out.
I think so. So we'll have
Yeah.
to when that age comes, we'll figure that out. But right
So
now,
in 20 years, when we'll still do this podcast,
yes.
we'll get back to that.
Hmm.
Okay, number 10, last one. Are you ready? As we age, we have a higher appreciation for health.
Yes.
As health becomes a greater focus with age, many women develop a deeper appreciation for their well being and may adapt healthier lifestyles. Have tried all the diets finally. Oh, yes, that's right. So, this is, I added that. As we age, we have, again, with experience, we have tried a lot of different
Fads. Yes.
fads and things, and we kind of know, we cracked at least I have more cracked the code on myself, like that won't work,
Hmm.
this will. I'm still experimenting, it's still fun, we've done fasting and still doing some, but maybe I had to dial it back a little bit because too much wasn't a good thing.
Hmm.
But I feel like
I
we've
think
we've
anything too much
tuned in a
is
little more. But the appreciation for health, yes, it has to do with age related, that we know more people that have diseases now. I mean, like my mother, who's in her 80s. Yes, she's gone through cancer and all these other things that kind of happen with age. Unfortunately, it also happens to young people, but
hmm
it's more um, it's greater in later in life. So, and we have gone through parents passing or friends
no.
being sick, and so it's, yes, you appreciate more definitely your
Yes.
health
I mean,
now than you
like you
did in
said,
your
some things
20s.
just happen. Just it's a
Yeah,
fluke, and it's really sad. And you're like, well, they were so healthy, or they
yeah,
did this, and
yeah.
it's unfortunate. But some you're thinking, wait, if I continue to do what I'm doing,
Hmm.
that's most likely going to happen
Yeah,
to me, and
yep,
it's your doing. So you have an option
exactly.
to fix it.
Yeah, it's one thing if well, a lot of diseases are genetic, you can't help it, but a
Mhm.
lot of it is preventable.
Yes. And a lot of them happen with stress.
Yes.
And it's proven, it's written, and it's
Hmm.
really
But a lot of them, unfortunately, is our lifestyle choices.
well, yes, but the stress alone
Hmm.
can
Yeah.
really do food. I mean, food, lifestyle choices, all that stuff. But it's been stress has been kind of correlated
Hmm.
with
Yeah, because it elevates, your cortisol level,
yes.
elevates blood pressure, elevates all of that.
And it causes you
Yeah.
to eat more if you
Yeah.
stress. So it's a big mess. So
Yeah.
be aware.
So we agreed with ChatGPT's top 10
Yes.
reasons for, and if you guys, as always, have any ones you want to add, please put them in the Facebook group.
Hmm.
But I thought too, Chappy GPD in all its glory, I'd like to give my top 5 tips on how to age powerfully. That works for me.
Okay.
Since I do feel great, and isn't it funny too, in your own brain, like I always thought that as I age, I'm going to change the view on myself, meaning my inner voice will be more mature.
Your subconscious.
No, it's the same voice I had, and maybe not the same as 25, but I would say same as like 30, 35, maybe. Because I think as you have children, if you have children, that changes
Hmm.
a little your inner voice a little bit, because all of a sudden you have this other person that's more important than yourself. Um, but otherwise, apart from that, I feel about the same. Of course, with more wisdom and not, I don't care as much, but sometimes I'm like, oh, shoot, I am not 35. That's right. Anyway, so here are my top 5 tips, and then you can give yours. Number 1, Resistance training. Lift heavy weights. Please, all you women out there, please, please, please do not disregard this. Do not be oops, bless you, Chance.
Oh,
Do not be cardio bunnies, meaning just do cardio, cardio, cardio. It's not going to help you as you age. In your golden years, muscle is going to be your best friend. Is going to keep you strong, but is also going to prevent you from those falls and breaks and all that stuff that can unfortunately very easily happen if we are older and frailer. And muscle will help you stabilize your
whole body.
yes, and your bones. So please lift heavy weights, and don't just, I mean, any weight is good, but don't do little itty bitty ones. Do some that you need some grunting to lift.
I can't wait to see you grunt in the gym.
Oh, I did that yesterday. It was me and all the 18-year-olds, I think, because a lot of them were my son's friends. I saw. I'm like, oh, great, that's great. Anyway, who cares? I'm a good role model, showing them you can lift weights at any age. No, but it's really. I know we talk about it a lot, but it's really so extremely important, because they've shown that research has finally proven that muscle equals longevity. So yeah, the more muscle, the likelihood of longer life or longevity is greater. So that's number one. Lift heavy things. Number two, eat more protein. We've also talked about that a lot, but that is something I see with my mother, for instance. As we age and get older, if we're not moving, we probably eat less and less because our metabolism slows down. And it's not because it slows down with age. Well, it does after 60, but it's because we move less and we become more sedentary. That's why we could gain weight and B, eat less because we're not as hungry. So but concentrating on the protein, not she has a little piece of toast in the morning, and then I mean, when I'm there, I would feed her a lot of protein, but otherwise, it's like, that's not going to do anything for you.
Yeah.
So really making sure you get the protein that will help those muscles to get strong. Super important. And it's when we're kids, you can get away with eating carbs and just pasta every day. That's fine, because your muscles, you can gain muscle just looking at a weight, but as we age, we really need all the help we can get. And that's protein is where you get. So concentrate on that. Number three, I've said this too a lot, move more. And I am not saying running a marathon. I'm saying just stand if you can instead of sitting. With my new Apple Watch, I have a stand goal every day that I need to reach. And if I'm not moving, it tells me you need to move around a little. Well, I'm sitting too much. Stand up for a bit. So standing is better than sitting. And if you can move as much as you can. And I think counting steps is the best way to make sure that you're moving.
What's the step count for the day?
So if you can aim for 8,000 to 10, I mean, 10,000 is pretty high. I would say whatever you are at now, just increase it.
Okay.
So with my Apple Watch, I now notice I do way more steps than I thought, because my phone wasn't with me all the time. My watch is. So my average is about 15,000 a day.
Okay.
But I mean, my goal is kind of like above 10.
Okay.
So some days it won't happen, but it really move. And we talked about that before. Park further away from the grocery store, especially park further away from the entrance to the gym. What's the point of driving around the parking lot to find the closest spot? You're going to go to the gym. Just make sure you get some extra steps in. And just walk. It's not doesn't have to be power walking. Just
Mm.
move. Just move more. Number 4, and you mentioned it earlier, the sooner you start taking care of your body uh, and your skin, super important. Your body and your skin, the better you will age. I don't know about you, but I used to use body lotion on my face in my 20s. But when I lived in New York, I used to go to famous esthetician place called Mario Badescu. They do products now
Mm.
too. And I had a Russian lady who did my facials, and I did it like once a month or something because the air was so polluted in New York. My pores were clogged up like crazy. And she told me, as I was in my 20s, she said, well, you get nice skin, but you know, your skin is very thin, so you're going to age quickly.
Oh my
That
goodness.
changed everything. I'm like, what?
Well, usually Caucasians will age
Yeah, and Swedes, we tend to have thinner skin.
thinner and drier. When you're the drier you are,
Yep.
the more wrinkles you will have.
Yeah. So, but that made me start taking care of my skin.
Thank you, lady.
So thank you, Mario Badescu, for that. But the sooner you start, and I don't, we hear this all the time also because we've been in the skincare industry. And of course, you as an esthetician hear it all the time. Oh, no, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for all the steps. I want to look like I'm 20, but I don't have time. It's like, it doesn't take that long. And if you don't prioritize that, well, then there's going to be a lot of things you need to do, or you're going to complain a lot. And if there's something you're not allowed to complain over things that you can do something about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, and well, I'll go over mine. Well,
yes.
I don't know if I have all 5, but
I have 5. My 5th one is laugh a lot. And even smile. It doesn't have to be ha ha ha. But I've noticed because I also have something called a resting bitch face. My kids told me all the time that I have a resting bitch face. So I look a little mad. So I make a point out of trying to smile more. Like if I'm at the grocery store or greeting someone or out walking.
She'll smile.
So I try to smile more, which I think it releases endorphins too. So it just keeps me young.
I like smiling.
Well, those were my 5 tips. What are your tips?
Well, I don't have 5.
That's okay because you're only in your 40s.
Yeah. Well, we talked about wisdom and it's use your time wisely. I think when you use your time wisely, you tend to have more wisdom. And of course, skincare. I mean, I was a little later too with skincare. I don't think before Mary Kay.
Yeah.
I used to use chapstick on my cheeks and mascara on my eyebrows.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you're not the only one.
No, and exfoliating. I think the only time I exfoliated was when we had the sandstorms in Iraq. That's the only time I ever. And I used, what was it? St. Ives?
There's something called St. Ives. Yes, scrub.
Yes.
That's like kind of rough.
Worst thing.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh yeah, that's rough.
It's just
that's for the body. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Oh.
Yes. So and I get so many people that say, oh, I don't do that, or that takes too long. But what happens is if you wait too long, then you're doing so much more, and it's not very financially smart because you're trying to fix something that's going to take a lot of fixing.
Yeah.
So you spend a lot more money later to look not as great.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to reverse a lot of stuff that you could have
totally agree.
Fixed.
And I will say too, the kids today, I think this generation that are teenagers today, they will take way better care of their skin.
Yes. Because there's a lot more social media.
And they're starting really early now.
Yes.
But still, it's better than starting too late.
And then, of course, I did, more resources again with aging. More be open to learn more about people, and I think it's great learning about people.
Yeah, be interested in people. We talked about that before too.
Yes.
Interested people are interesting.
Yes.
If you have friends that never ask you a question, that you're always the one leading, like, what do you think? What did you do? How's that one feeling? If you're always the one asking the questions, it becomes pretty uninteresting.
And one other one I have is empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Empathy is such a gift to have. You either I think you either have it or you don't have it. However, I think you can learn how to have it when you become more in tune with how you feel and not what other people make you feel. You become have more empathy.
And experience. You've just gone through things in life.
Yeah.
You can be like, oh
but
gosh,
some people go through things and are bitter as heck.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
And you're like, oh my goodness, like just sometimes I have people be really bitter and mean. The first thing I want to ask them is like, what did you go through?
Yeah.
That makes you
I agree with you.
But empathy is such a cool...
It is a gift.
A cool gift to have. And you become the light of someone instead of someone's like black cloud. So I don't have 5, but those are like my top things because we went over a lot of...
Well, when you turn 50, then you'll have 5.
And then we're less bound to foolishness because most of us. I guess there's room for movement.
Yeah, but again, that experience, yes, maybe you've done it once.
Don't do so many stupid
do it
things.
once, shame on me. Do it twice, or shame on you. Do it twice, shame on me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, that was fun. I like that. And
so we hope we gave hope to everyone. And if you are with us in your 40s, 50s,
and you're 50 all year, so your birthday's all year.
My birthday is all year. Yeah, that's correct.
I'm not 50 yet. I do have a birthday coming up, but not 50.
You do.
Not 50, not yet.
No, but hey, you get that to look forward to.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not as bad as I thought. I mean, I have stressed a little about, not a lot, but a little. Kind of thought about like, oh, holy moly.
She looks great.
Well, thank you. But I think more importantly, I feel great.
Yes.
So I think that really made it like, well, it is a number. I can't change that. It is what it is. But I can really work on how I feel about myself.
You look great and you feel great. Sometimes people look really not so great and you're like, oh, I feel great. I'm like, really?
Well, that's not.
Or opposite. They look really good,
but they feel
horrible.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Hi, Chance. Would you?
So once again, this one's
once again,
fun.
This was great.
We toast to coffee today.
Just coffee.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye bye.